Hi, I showed you this photograph yesterday and I chose not to do it in favour of the Neots painting. So I've pinned it on my board and I've zoomed into it a little bit. Now what I'm going to do, and you can do this yourself with your photographs, it'd be very good to paint that, the whole lot, but I'm not going to. What I do is to get a bit of a card, an aperture, cut it, a similar format to the board I'm painting on, just work it around so we get the bit that we want to make a painting. Now that seems to me to be okay. I'll zoom in on that and you can see what we've done now. That's you're seeing it probably larger than I'm seeing it now. There we are. That's so what we've got. We've got the sea. This is what they call West Wittering, the Witterings, Selsey Bill. It's like a great chunk of land sticking out at the bottom of the south coast, which is the one end of Chichester Harbour going all the way to Portsmouth, and the whole area is called Chichester Harbour. It's full of these lovely peninsulas and waterways. Now this is low tide, but we'll make something of more water in that, I think. We'll sort out a sky as we go along, because there's not a lot of detail in the landscape other than what I try to put in. So I'm going to try to make the sky the principal feature of this, because it is essentially a sky picture because of the type of landscape. Here we've got the only verticals we've got are the stand of trees here, but we can always put a couple of little boats here with masts going up. You do need verticals when you've got horizontal landscapes to break the tension and to give points of interest. So I'll take both of those off. Oops. And I'll stick that up on the board. Now here's the board. It's a piece of hardboard, automatic focus. I'll zoom out a bit. I've roughed it up. It's very thin, bendy. Got a mechanical grain back. Don't use that unless you're prepared to use loads and loads of paint to fill in. It's too mechanical. I always use the smooth side. I'll rough it up. Bit of very coarse paper, sandpaper. Seal it with some acrylic PVA glue, varnish. You can even, if you've got cheap acrylic paints, artist paint, you can prime it with that. A mid-tone colour. That's the mid-tone that does. So put it up there, drop that down to hold it, and my palette. I'll just pin my picture on the bottom of the easel. No, I'll pin it on the top because that's where I'm looking. So I'll show you where it is. It's there, so I can see it, but you can't. Okay. My palette, the usual white, of course, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt sienna, black, some monestial blue here, lemon yellow and yellow ochre. That is it. I'll give my palette just a little bit of a clean, so we start more or less fresh. A bit more, I think. More cleaning. Should have done that first, shouldn't I? Right, there, that'll do. Right, let's put on some sort of horizon. I'll put that in a black and red. Quite low, so we'll have that down there. Now remember, since I'm going to paint a lot of light grasses in there, seaweed, that lovely lemon yellow, I'm going to paint, so I need to put some paint out. I'm going to put a colour, strong blacky red. That is a colour, by the way, blacky red. Reddy black. One, because the the red is a complementary colour to green, so any of it that shows through will enhance the green that's on top of it. But I want it fairly dark, because that way I'll get the counter change between the light and dark areas. I'm trying to listen to Prime Minister's Question Time at House of Commons. It's every Wednesday for those of you in other lands. The usual clowns doing their party pieces. It's not serious politics, nobody takes it serious. The leader of the opposition tries to score points off the Prime Minister and vice versa. Schoolboy stuff, but good fun. We can see why we don't like them. Right, there we are. That'll do. Brushing with the water, and I'll try to just put in a sky. I always use a bit of alizarin, and I remember demonstrations by the lovely artist Ray Campbell Smith. I hope he's still in good health. He was quite elderly when I remember him demonstrating for Carl Shorten and Wallington Art Group, but a marvellous watercolour painter, a great demonstrator. And he used to say that he always added a little bit of alizarin crimson to his ultramarine. He said it looked like Reckitt's blue, with this lovely deep boomy voice. Reckitt's blue. And that was his sort of main line, to break the ice, but he was great. He did lovely stuff. So if you've not heard of him, Ray Campbell _Smith, Google him, because I'm sure you'll find some of this stuff online. One of UK's great watercolour painters. Well, I've been out of the loop for a long time with regards to art stuff. So I was a member of Carl Shorten Art Group for a long time, but I just didn't go. I paint alone, really. I paint here, and I don't really want to go out with others to an evening in the church hall and paint flowers or paint a theme. I like to paint my own stuff. Well, that'll do for that. Let's clean the brush. This is a Pro Arte nylon brush, very good brush. Pro Arte Sterling Acrylics, Pro Arte, lovely brush. So inch flat, long flat. I use long flats. I prefer long flats to any other brush, apart from rigger and some smaller detail brushes. But my main colours go in with largish flats. They suit me. That's all I can say. I can't say for any other reason other than I like using them. So let's just put in some nice clouds. I want quite a bright horizon, because I'm going to counter change the trees against that. So we'll, there we are. Some nice, try another grey with a bit of ultramarine and light red. See what happens. Yeah, that's promising. So I don't really know what I'm doing. You might struggle to do your skies and think you'd like to be able to do them as quick as me, but I'm making this up as I go along. But I have spent a lifetime looking at trees, at lovely clouds. Nothing worse than a blue sky in a painting, because it's just so boring. You miss out on a lot of potential with your skies if you don't make them, with lots of colour. You can get movement on your clouds. Okay, that's going on. So let's go back to my light red and a bit of yellow ochre. Now keep the colours very simple. So I'll put cloud shadow underneath all this. Oh, lovely luscious. Right, now we want some darker cloud shadow. The clouds scurrying across the sky. Yum yum. Try and make it look realistic, but the more trouble you take with it, the worse it goes. It's like foregrounds. You really need to crack on with them, get them done, get them out of the way, because that way it'll be more of an impression, more of we'll have a feeling of spontaneity about it. So let's just go over that with the nice. A lot of white in this now, because I want some thickness on the sky. Some blues in there, some very light blue. You can use cerulean down here, blue. I don't use it in acrylics really. It just adds to the complication of too many paints. Try to go as far as you can with what you've got and make them, just add now and again. Otherwise you think, well, they're on the palette, I might as well use them. But that's not the way. You really don't need a lot of colours. When you start reaching for ready greens, ready mixed greens, you know you've lost it. It's immensely satisfying, isn't it? But never easy. I struggle as much as you do, and I'm trying to find new things to say or different ways to show the same thing. A bit more red in there. The red just mixed with the white is a lovely colour without mixing it with the yellow ochre. It makes a lovely pink. I'm going to put some lights, some darks back in there. I'll mix that the paint on the brush with the sky colour, the rest of the sky. So you get a bit of what can I say? What's the word? Can't think. There's this lovely acrylic. It just dries so quick, and you can crack on with it. Right, let's clean the brush. I was going to say conformity, but it's not conformity, it's unity, a unifying. The fewer colours you use them throughout, and you've got a unity of colour. I don't think that's quite the word I was looking for, but never mind. Right, let's just get some nice little scuddy clouds going across here. Just floating across. Now, a bit darker now. Ultramarine, light red, alizarin. That is such a strong colour, the alizarin. You have to be careful of it. We want some darks. These. I'm trying to separate that from that. I've repeated myself but in a minor form, so we'll put in some little clouds over that just to break it up. Bit of blue in there now. I'm running out of space on my palette. I'll have to give it a bit of a clean. When I do the landscape part, I can just gently look at the sky and see how I can improve it. Always have a basket by your throwing away hand. Right, I want some blue back there now. Let's get a very light blue. Just showing through there, and a bit darker at the top here. Just reduce the intensity of some of that. A bit of sky, a bit of cloud colour there. Right, I'll let that go for a minute. Go back to the landscape, get some thicker colour. Remember in the last one I showed how to create a texture on the surface of your board using stipple. Little points using this brush, or one of these brushes, just to give a lot of thousands of tiny little raised pimples. And then when it dries, you can drag over it and it hits the high spots and misses the low. It's a great way of building up a texture, which is what we really need. So I'm just using a bit of black with a lot of yellow on there, because the black and the lemon yellow make a really good green. So I'm just dobbing about there. It's more or less the colour that's in the photograph. Let's get that all the way across. We'll have some bluey water on top of that as well. when it dries. I'm going to put the trees in. We've got the blue distant grasses and the water coming in on the sea is out here somewhere, quite a way. Well, it's all salt water, but I want to just get all this bright stuff in. And keep going over it. Let's just stipple it. It's an acceptable technique. It's a great way of shortcutting painting foliage, leaves on trees. If you're an oil painter, I used to do this technique using Acrylic medium. Well, it was linseed oil. It was drying linseed oil. I think it's got a lot of dryers in it, and you keep going over it. And as it dries, you can add more and more light colours, dark and light, and you can build up a lovely texture on your trees. But the problem is mixed techniques. Since you're stippling here, you should really be stippling in the sky. Otherwise you get all the different techniques, but we're having the time to do stuff like that when doing the demo. Now that's quite a good light. I need much more yellow on my palette now. So I'm going to use my System 3 acrylic. Lovely. Quite inexpensive. And we've got lots of light greens catching the light from the sky, and lots of dark shadow rocks covered with sort of seaweed. And you've got to look for your lights and darks in this sort of landscape. And we must remember aerial perspective, which is a way of showing depth and distance by the use of colour. Should be second nature, really. Making that look distant is very, very simple. You just put blue on the horizon and it stretches it back. It's quite amazing how it all happens. I'll mix up a good green with some light red, yellow and black. So let's go a bit bigger with these. Got some sienna in there as well. Keep plenty of air in your foliage because you wouldn't appear too solid, I don't think. Especially around the canopies of these trees, you've got a lot of air, space for birds to fly through. I like to think that's it. So, and then we've got a bigger stand of trees in here. Am I masking you? No. what I'm going to have to do is raise my board. That's it. I've had this easel for years and years and years. You can see the colour of it. I've had to scrape this part of the colour many times. I don't believe in letting it build up too much just for the sake of it. It does get in the way. And you can put, unwittingly, paint on your frames without realising. When that dries, I can put some lighter greens over that. Right, now we've got this, the bluer greens now. So the more distant ones, so let's put these in. That gives me ample opportunity. Now, I know we'd all like to see Venetian vistas, Grand Canal, but they take time. They take a long time to do. When I was painting Venice for a gallery 14 years ago, I had a lot of work to do in the good old days. They were taking me a couple of days each of hard work, and then quite a bit of fiddling around afterwards. But it wouldn't do for a demonstration. Right, let's get another type of green in there. Keep working at these. It's got to be dead straight there. There's nothing to stop you using a rule across there. Go straight edge. Whatever works, really. You can drive around that side, part of the way anyway. If you've never been to Bosham, it's a lovely, lovely village, mostly given over to holiday making or yachting, second homes, but a lovely part of the south coast. As you go in, there's a very large house, much extended, which I painted as a commission for a friend of the owner, of the relative of the owner. And I don't like doing commissions really, because you can't take liberties with commissions, or too many liberties. I did. I put trees in that weren't there, and the sky that didn't exist. But the house I had to paint as accurately as I could. And it hangs in the hall over a fireplace with a light over it. And the owner said last year, he said, well, we've changed the colour of the door, Dave. I said, oh, do you want me to come down and... But it was a good lesson, but people know how they want things to look, and that's going uphill there, isn't it? It's just filling that here. Remember, we don't want hard edges anywhere, all soft, lost and found. I'll do sort of the light bluey green across here, I think, in a minute. Oh, okay. I'll clean my brush a little bit and start putting in some darks. Now, excuse me, burnt sienna and a bit of black. Let's try that. That looks quite right, so let's just put these in here. I'll fill in, I won't, this is just sloppy work at the moment. These are the rocks that are covered, wet rocks, and I can put in bits of water, the channel. and lots of these. If you've not seen the recent Chichester Harbour paintings, the Chidham is the next, it's not a bay, they're a great inlet along, and you can see Bosham Church, which is behind where I am at the moment. Very, very much painted, love church. There's a good artist, I can't remember his name for the moment, in an arty craft arcade in the village, very nice, a couple of nice pubs. There's not a lot to do for children here, really. A bit of crabbing maybe, but there's no beach. It's just water, boats, but if you've got a boat, it's because you've got a lot of fun. And this is the channel coming across here. One of the great paintings I've seen of this was done by Ted Weston in one of his books. I have copied it a few times. But anything I copy I mostly give away. And always attribute it to the artist who came up with the view in the first place. This brush again, just a little bit hairless now, a bit like me. Let's get some nice darky red. Get some reds in there. Like a bit of red mud. Just so that it adds to the green, contrasts with the green. Oh, that's horrible. Let's go over that. Let's find another brush. Right, let's put in some bluey, greeny grass now. A bit darker than that. But as my palette, this is going to be like a blue up here, just to give some depth, some recession. Can always mix a little bit of alizarin in with it. When I was doing oils, a great shortcut to a rich warm dark is mixing alizarin with with viridian, which makes a lovely, and it gets a beautiful grey, beautiful. You mix it with white, bit of white, and all by knocking up your own colours, finding how far they will go. Right, let's just get that in there. Painting over the over the dried paint. Right, let's we've got the blue. Let's come in with just put in that's coming across the lighter blue. you can see some water in here. Let's just see what happens. Let's just put some up there. And we'll just scumble in some over here. Just break up that flat surface now a little bit. Right, more. I think we could do with some lighter than the blue really, because we've got the clouds above it. We should really show some. More of a reflection of the sky. Well, it would be a reflection of the sky. Right. Something here. Right. Put some brown and black back. Now I've either got to decide whether to leave it at that or put in more water, and I'm erring on the side of more water. Now we've got to go back with some nice brights in there. We can mix a bit of yellow ochre with the grasses here. Coming up. I'm now dragging over the whole lot, unifying, I suppose you could say. Top of these. Right. I use a smaller brush now. I want to put in some of these bits of detail along here, just rocks and okay. Right, now we want to put in some boats. We won't make them pure white, we'll just put one. No, that's not a very good thing. Probably a rigger would be better there. Cut that out. Oh, this is so good. I've got a worn out brush here. When they're worn out, they do lovely things. Put white. Bit of shadow under that. Now with the white, with a nice flat brush, a nice really sharp edge. Just a little bit of detail on here. Not a lot, because too much. And we can. The yacht club is around the corner here, so let's. I think I've gone a little bit too light on my horizon there, so I'll just mix a bit of this here. You can always I've got cramp now. You can always change it. Reinstate. Let's go back. It's a nice. there's sort of a beach around there. Well, no, I'm going to put it in. I'm going to do a bit of cloud work now. Right, nice grey. I'll do it done, I reckon. I don't think I can do too much more other than ruin what I've done. So let's just that's not so bad yet. Let's go back a little bit of blue underneath that. This is all very indistinct under here, it's just clouds on clouds. Just maybe a bit of light just coming through underneath those clouds. Right, that's about all I can do at the moment. Let's sign it and put it in a frame. And we'll have a little look at it. Right, there's my picture. I totally changed the sky. I've made it up. I don't think it's one of my best ones, but you can see the channels here, the dark, weed, burnt. I don't know if I didn't study it physically. I just took a photograph. I took a photograph 30 years ago. Right, frame. It's not, these aren't very good frames. They originally had photographs in. And somebody kindly gave them to me of surplus to requirements, and they live again. Right, well there we are. My version of Bosham. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's zoom in a little bit, show you around the front room, so to speak. A few boats on there, just to fill that gap. That says water, as far as I'm concerned. masts, well, little boats just at anchor. And that's about it really, just a bit of water down the bottom, in between all the marsh grass, whatever it is, it's come out of it. Put that on my Facebook. There we are, thanks for watching, bye bye.